Welcome everyone. This is the 50th session of our Spiritual Questions Answered with CordyKet. And my name is Ket, K-E-T Ket. I'm the co-founder of CordyKet. And tonight, since it's our 50th session, I think in terms of recording, it'll be later for recording, it'll be our 48th because one or two sessions didn't turn out well for recording. But as the 50th session, I've decided that we'll do an open Q&A, right? Normally we have a fixed topic for the session, and I will be speaking about it and everyone get to ask questions about it. But this time we'll be doing open Q&A. So those of you who are attending live, those of you who are present live here, you will get to ask your questions, and you may do so by typing in your messages, all right, typing into the chat box of the Zoom. And I will go through them. Hopefully, I will try to see whether there's a, whether there are similar questions. I'll try to address them one at a time, especially the common ones. And I hope to be able to answer most of your questions or direct you to find some answers. Okay, so yes, if anyone of you have any questions, please feel free to type in the chat box or feel free also to speak and ask your question. Anybody? I'll give you time to write your questions. All right, and the first question by Edwin. Why is there only one heaven or home, but many non-homes, or like many hells? All right, it's a very good question by Edwin. Why is there only one? So for those of you who've been following us on our Spiritual Questions Answered, yeah, if the recordings are posted in YouTube. All right, the channel is youtube.com, all right, /@CordyKet. Look for the podcast or the playlist called Spiritual Questions Answered. We've got quite a number of playlists over there. Yeah, but the main one whereby all the interesting stuff will be under is Spiritual Questions Answered. And if you go back all the way to one the early posts, early sessions, I talked about ghosts, I talked about divine beings, I talked about heaven, and I talked about hell. Okay, so and Edwin is one of our regulars. He's been following us, so he's asking a question. Right, why is there only one heaven but many? So his question is why one heaven? All right, but many. So one heaven or home. I normally call heaven or home of our souls. But many. Edwin's term is non-homes. All right, to answer this question, we need to understand a little bit about the spiritual realms. All right, now in terms of home and heaven, all right, when I use the term home, it's referring to the home of our soul, okay, our eternal soul. Right, so we have a body and we also have a soul, okay, and in my line of work, right, those of you who don't know us, right, CordyKet, you can go and Google us or something. We do a lot of spiritual work. We may not say so much about it on on the internet stuff. We try not to spook out people, but our clients know us. We do a lot of energy work and energy healing, but we tend to specialize on the spiritual side. And I am conducting this monthly Spiritual Questions Answered so that I hope to be able to address the many questions that my clients have. And sometimes, when I go to a client's place, I'm sometimes retained or detained, for long periods of time, because people have so many questions for me, and I figured that if I answer all these questions and post them up on YouTube, then people can just access them, and they can watch them, and then I don't need to waste so much time personally addressing everyone's questions. Okay, so this is Elvis' question: why one heaven or home but many non-homes? Okay, so the first thing we need to understand is home, and what does home refer to? So the home is actually the home of the souls. All right, and we are referring to souls of light. So I'm going to simplify things. Some people don't like the generalization, but generally our souls are of light. Okay, are of goodness, are of light. Okay, and the home is also heaven, where the light beings and the divine beings are. Or where the light beings and divine beings are is the same place where all the good guys are. Okay. Now, souls reincarnate. Okay, and after we are done with our incarnation on earth, we need to go back home. All right, the spirit form, our soul needs to go back home, and there's one home, because there's one home where all the good beings are, and then we reincarnate. Now the question is, why are there many non-homes? All right, why many non-homes? First of all, we have this we got to go back to quite a number of videos for those of you who are familiar. All right, so the idea is there is a source of light. So all these are light and everything. All right, and so there is a source of light. Firstly, there is only one source of light. All right, one ultimate source of light, and now the source of light respects free will. All right, if you watch enough of my videos and everything, you will understand that the source of light respects free will. So free will is a very important concept. So the souls and many of the spirits, the energy forms and everything come from this source of light. Yeah. Now, because source of light respects free will, and most of the souls and everything come from the source of light. Now, the souls or whatever the creation of the source of light, they all have free will to leave home or leave heaven and do whatever they want, including not so good things. But ultimately, when we're created by the source of light, we're all good. But eventually maybe we learn different things, right, in the world, and some will obviously choose to be not so of light anymore, right? Some people will become greater in light, some become lower in light. So some will choose to leave the service of light, and those that are powerful themselves, they will create their own homes. Which everything we call non-homes, and it can be hell. So for example, if some leave and then they become like dark beings, ghosts, become demons and all. Now demons at the very highest level, like demon kings or overlords, they can create their own realms, their own home, or their what we call non-home. So, and of course, if you're it's kind of like a human world. It's kind of like a human world, right? So even if there's ultimately one source, but people will leave, right? If there's one big group of good people, let's say everybody come from this big group of source, source of all humans, but eventually people will want to leave and they want to set up their own thing, do their own thing, right? And the source of light allows that, and that is why different, especially different. Everyone wants to be their own leader. Everyone wants to have their own place, right? And everybody wants to be their own boss. Not say everybody, but there'll be enough of such. And if they're powerful enough, they will set up their homes. All right. So I hope this answer satisfies you, Edwin. And Amy is asking, okay, hi Kat, please discuss a bit about NDE that I asked you earlier. Okay. So basically, Amy sent me, a long list of questions asking about near-death experiences. Yeah. So Amy is asking about near-death experiences, and so near-death experiences, right? That we call NDE, and talking about the visions of light and everything. Now, actually, Amy probably have not watched all of my episodes. All right. So you watch all my episodes talking about ghosts and heaven and all this. I actually talk a little bit. I've actually not say a little bit. I think I did answer this question, and I did mention about NDE or even some of the I think some of the recent talks about dying. Right? There's a reason about dying. What happens to our consciousness when we die? I will mention this NDE a little bit. Now, okay, just to answer Amy's question over here. So you sent me a bunch of questions. So this near-death experience, all right, this near-death experience is essentially about the process of dying. So first of all, I like those of you who are interested to really understand more about this topic. Can you just go to our YouTube? All right, you can go and watch the episode on ghosts. All right, on divine beings, on heaven, on hell, and there's one. What about our consciousness? What happens to consciousness when we die? Okay, consciousness when we die. Okay, so in these videos, all quite related. Please, so each video is about at least an hour long. But if you are interested in all these topics, I hope you find it very interesting. Just to answer Amy in short over here is this. Now, the of all this will provide the background, and then what happens to our consciousness when we die will explain things a little bit more. Now, Amy is asking more on the experience of light. When I'm talking about what happens to our consciousness when we die, I actually mentioned the two scenarios. You either encounter light or you don't encounter light. And Amy is talking specifically about light. Now, so what is important is when we die, are we connected to light? Are we surrounded by light? Are we surrounded by divine? And if you are of religion, are you surrounded by the light beings, the divine beings of your religion? That is very important. Now, if you are surrounded and you are being a good person and all that, and you're connected to light, then when you die, or when you nearly die, near-death experience or death is actually the same process. It's just that near-death means you kind of died, but you didn't really die, and then you come back. Okay, so now if you're connected to light, you will get all these light experiences when you die or when you nearly die. Okay, and these light experiences, just to answer Amy's question, right? So if the light experiences, maybe I should use a red color to denote light, it will branch off into whether you have a religion or no religion, or faith. All right, whether you have a particular religion or faith, or no religion, no faith. Okay, so if you have, as long as you are connected to light, okay, or you're surrounded by light or divine beings when you die, okay, please watch this. This is a very important video. What happens to consciousness when we die? You want this question answered? Please watch this video in our YouTube channel. So now, if you're connected to light and you have a religion, then the light that you see is going to be related to your religion. So if you say you're a Christian, you may see Jesus, you may see the angels, all right, or if you're Catholic, you may see Mother Mary or Jesus, or whichever faith. If you are Buddhist, you may see Buddha. If you're Hindu, you may see the Hindu deities. All right, if you are a Muslim, right, you may experience Allah. Those who know in Islam, Allah is formless, right? So it depends on which religion as long as it's a religion of light. And most of the mainstream religions that we have right here, right now, in 2024, all right, most of the mainstream religions, they're all of light, but there are certain cults that have deviated from light. Okay, but the mainstream ones, generally, they are of light. Now, if you don't have a religion, okay, so if you have religion, you experience religious or of your faith kind of like experience, the divine associated with your religion. But if you have no religion or no faith, what's going to happen is you will experience light, and these people, they normally experience um, familiar people who are deceased coming to welcome them or receive them, to bring them back home. So usually it will be like a deceased grandpa, grandma, or parents, or friends, good friends, like that. So essentially, all this come from light. All this come from light, come from home. Okay, so all this will be linked all the way to home and of course to the source of light. Now, the idea is heaven or light, right? Source of light, they understand each and every one of us, and they're not going to shock us. If you don't have religion, and then they send Jesus, and you're like, yo, but I don't believe in Jesus, I don't identify with Jesus, then you won't go with them back home. So they will always send a representative or someone to welcome you, whereby that you feel more comfortable with. So if your religion, typically it will be of religious, according to your religious practice or faith. If you have no religion, then you will send some relative or something like that. Okay, relative or friend, someone whom you know is deceased. Okay, so as questions come in, let me take a look and browse through, see whether are they related questions, and I try to answer more. All right, so the next question is by Edwin. How do we know whether a deceased person has already rebirthed? Oh, that's a very good question. Let me write it down, okay? How do we know whether deceased has rebirthed or been reborn? Okay? Rebirth. Now, first of all, to address this question, right? First of all, to address this question, the most important is you need to find someone who really knows what they are doing, who's really connected to the spiritual world. Not many people can know an answer to this. Okay, now first of all, before we even want to talk about this, we need to sort a few things out. First of all, before you even talk to this, you need to find out whether the deceased has gone back to life. There's a step one. Alright, there's a step one. Before we talk about whether the deceased has been rebirthed, you need to find out whether, right, the deceased has gone back to life. Correct or not? This is the most important step, and in my line of work, I noticed that most cannot tell, and I mean, there are many people who are not able to tell. For us, we are able to tell, we are trained, but of course, there are also people out there who can do it. Now, most important is you need to be able to tell whether the deceased has gone back to light. Now, then next, we need to understand a little bit about this. I'm not really talk about all this rebirth process and everything now. Basically, after a soul, a person has died, the soul returns to heaven. Rebirthing does not happen very fast. Does not happen very fast because uh, you have to go back and there's kind of like a personal judgment day or evaluation. You need to the first thing actually you go through is you need to go through rehab. Okay, after you die, when you go back, you have to go through a period of a rehab or adjustment. You need to go through an adjustment period because obviously as a soul you've been in the physical form for very long, and you need some time to readjust to life in heaven. So you need to go through some rehab or adjustment period. After within that time frame, there will be some assessment of how well you did in your the last reincarnation, whether do you achieve your soul mission, those kind of stuff like that. All right, and then only after that, then you go back to the normal, life back home or back in heaven. All right, and that will entail a lot of there will be responsibilities, there will be learning, and so on. And then before you prepare for the next rebirth, and it does not happen very soon. Okay, so when a lot of people ask this question, people are kind of like very impatient, right? And very impatient, like they expect it to happen within our present life. It's like you're hoping that, within a few years, 10 years, 20 years, sometimes it may not even happen for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. It depends on different souls, their planning, their karmic circumstances and everything. So it's not very clear. All right, so firstly, you need to ensure the soul has gone back to light. All right, then you need to have to be able to find this out, you need to have the let me see the authorization. Okay, the person who's trying to do the reading. All right, you need to find out. Okay, then only you find out whether still in heaven or rebirth. But these are the questions that you need to ask. But before you can even talk about all this, the most important thing is, can you find the right person? Right person with the authorization, especially for the second question, to find out whether this one is not any Tom, Dick, and Harry. It's not something like some people will say, oh, they can go to Akashic Records and find out. No, it's not public knowledge in Akashic Records. Okay, so this is not knowledge that you can find out in Akashic Records. All right, so you need to, the so-called light worker or the channel or the medium must be aligned with light, must be working for light, and must have the level of authorization to find out number two. Number one is pretty easy. All right, if you're trained. So those of you who are learning immunity after a certain level, right, very fast you'll be able to find out number one. Number one is pretty easy, but to find out number two, right, you need to learn a little bit more, and you need to have the level of authorization, because this is none of your bloody business. Sorry to say. Okay, this is none of your business. So, to round up this question, we need to understand a few things. Okay, for those of us who are still alive, and we have deceased people, we need to learn to let go. All right, we need to learn to let go and allow the deceased to go through whatever they need to go through, because their life here is done, right? And this is actually not important at all to us, rightfully. Of course, but there are many people who are very attached, so they are very curious and all this, and they're asking, but it makes no immediate impact with your life. Okay? And if you want to persist to ask this question, may I suggest something? Can you please, all right, especially people who believe in rebirth, all right, and then you will either be Buddhist or Hindu, you know about the Buddha. Please look up this thing. Please go and Google this, all right. Parable of the arrow. All right, if you still want to know, please Google this. This is the answer to this question. Otherwise, this is my answer for all of you. Okay. Again, Edwin. So Edwin is asking, is it by doing LM enough to protect against all dark forces, negative energy? So Edwin's question is doing light meditation enough protection against dark forces, all right? The dark. I'll just leave it like this. Now, the answer is yes and no. Why do I say yes and no? Light meditation alone is actually enough, all right, to protect you against all the dark forces. All right, the answer is yes, but at the same time, it is no, because it depends on your level of light. Okay, on your level of light, and your level of light depends on who you are as a person. So again, if you're asking this question, can you please go to our CordyKet Spiritual Questions Answered in YouTube channel. Look for this one. There's a video whereby I talk about why is it that something about good people, how to be good and you'll be protected from spirits. Okay, don't mind, just give me a moment. All right, just give me a moment. Let me try and find that YouTube video. And I will just let you know what's that YouTube video's title is. Okay. So this one, let me see. All right, the video is called Evil Spirits Can't Touch Truly Good and Positive People. All right, evil spirits can't touch truly good and positive people, even without doing light meditation. All right, basically in the video I explain how is it that if you are a good person, truly good and positive, evil spirits, the dark forces cannot harm you. All right, but obviously it's not so simple. And as a I explained how to qualify, okay, what is a truly good and positive person, because many people think we are good and positive, all right, but what really sets the standard such that you can delineate, you can identify clearly the really truly good and positive people from the so good and positive people, but the ones who are really good and positive, the dark cannot touch you. All right, what qualifies is in that video, and in the video I will explain what basically I did explain is, if you are unable to be on this side but most people are on this side, then you may need some energy practices, spiritual practices, religious. All right, and for us we have all this non-religious practice like, okay, our unity qigong, our light meditation and non-attachment meditation, which can help keep all these dark forces, dark energies, negative energies, entities away from you. And light meditation is one of them. So now, light meditation, yes, it can protect, but there are various degrees of light. So what I'm going to tell you, so when you do light meditation, how high is your level of light? Are you level 0, level 10, level 100, level 1000 level of light? And if you're talking about the dark forces, what level of dark forces are you encountering? Are you encountering level 1, level 50, or level 200? What level are you encountering? So your level of light meditation will depend on your level of light, and your level of light depends on how good and positive you are. So please watch the video. Alright, evil spirits can't really touch truly good and positive people. Alright, so basically the short answer is it depends on your level of light versus dark. How much light, how much goodness you have versus the dark forces that are opposing. Does it make sense? Alright. Okay. So just to help everyone understand how is light defined, so this good person, I just give you so light meditation, all right, and our light, the aura that protects us, the most important thing that the property of light, all right, that protects us is because it is a pure light of goodness. The light that's protecting us is called the pure light of goodness. So from the words, you know the qualities of this pure light of goodness. So firstly, very simple, right? It is pure. It is of light and it's of goodness. And how do we define? So purity, everyone kind of get the idea, right? Light. Now, a key factor that's going to define this will be our values. The kind of values we have as a person. All right, are you loving, kind? Are you truthful? Are you of honor and integrity? Or you tend to tell white lies? I actually address a lot of these points in that video. Okay, all right, that evil spirits can't touch truly good and positive people. Please take a look. Otherwise, this is a simplified answer for this very short Q&A session, because I'm going to try to attempt to answer everyone's questions. Coral is asking, why aren't there more safeguards to make sure SS gets to PS to go to heaven? Okay, so basically, Coral is asking, why are there not enough safeguards to make sure everything goes back to heaven? There is already a very strong safeguard. Okay, Coral is learning immunity, and I've already explained, all right, the systems. The soul system is in place, and the most important thing is this. All right, we need to understand this free will. All right, the source of light gives and respects the free will of every sentient being in the universe, in the world. Now, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Just imagine for a moment. Just try to imagine that you or me or us, any one of us, put ourselves in the position of the source of light, all light, and we are all all loving. If you actually understand love has to be unconditional at the very highest level, right? Love at the very highest level is unconditional. And if we love something at the highest level, the love is unconditional, and the love cannot be a love that is restrictive, that is saying, I love you, but you can't do this and you can't do that. Is that love? Let me ask you, is that love? How will you define if someone says they love you, but they don't allow you to do the things which they think is not okay, but you think is okay? Now, many things, it's all about perspective, right? Between right, wrong, good, bad, is perspective. A lot of people will argue, but that's your point of view, and yeah, that's my point of view, and that's your point of view, right? Yes, Cora, you want to speak?
Yes. Sorry. I guess my question really is not necessarily I do understand about the free will. It's more so for those who do not understand this process or maybe don't have a faith. Myself included, I entered, in Hiniti not having a lot of faith, and it's something that I've worked up to. So, like cultivating those good values. But for people who have not cultivated good values in their life and now are at the end of life, or perhaps they are still, in the eyes of the people around them, good people and have done good things, maybe philanthropic things, whatever. But in those moments of death and being in fear, let's say, of death, being in fear would hinder access to the light, I would imagine. I don't know. Um, and so I guess I'm wondering what the safeguards are in order to make, maybe not to make sure, but like to, uh, for people who don't know that being in light, like to go back to light, but like having light yourself and cultivating good values, like those are really, really important things. But for those who don't know, just don't know. And I feel like just by not knowing makes it more susceptible that you don't go to the light. And I feel it's so tricky, it's so not fair. It's like there was this thing that you could have worked up to, and I understand it's free will, but I I guess like for me, I want to know so that I can help people too. But free will, I'm not going to force someone to believe anything. It's just I want the best for them. And so, how do I help people to continue cultivating good values if they don't know that this is something that will be ultimately helping them?
All right. So again, I believe this question is best addressed by one of the earlier videos where I talk about what happens to a consciousness when we die. All right. So now ultimately, this is a very I think this was a pretty good video, and it addresses a lot of questions. And I did stress on this fact, right, that you can be a very bad person, right? You can be a very bad person. But if at your moment of death, or towards the last days of your life, you repent or you turn over a new leaf, which is entirely possible, all right, and you wish to be a good person at your deathbed or at your dying moments, right, you can actually return to light, you can go to heaven. And the source of light, heaven, the divine, they will not say, oh, because you've done some bad things, all right, then no, you can't come home and you are kicked out of home and you must go to hell. Actually, it's not like that at all. If people really understand what it's like, it's about kindness, about forgiveness, anything and everything can and will be forgiven. All right. Now, the only thing is, at the point of death, we need to ensure the conditions. We need to try and increase the chances and create conditions that are susceptible for us to return to light. That is the most important thing, and all this is addressed in this video. Okay. So to answer your question, firstly, there's free will, and free will involves free will of all sentient beings, including good people, bad people, good spirits, bad spirits. And the source of light is so loving that understands that everyone needs to learn from their mistakes. All right, that source of light is eternal. Time is not a problem, and the souls go through rebirth and rebirth. What's the big deal about dying? What's the big deal about suffering for months, years, decades? Because in the span of eternity, it's nothing. It's nothing at all. All right, it's just time that need to be passed, lessons that need to be learned. And so in the spirit of love and free will, all right, every sentient being will be allowed to do whatever they want. Anything, including doing bad deeds. I'm not encouraging bad deeds, but in the eyes of the source of light that is so loving, so forgiving, it is actually acceptable. All right? And there may be karmic repercussions. You need to balance your karma and all this, but you have your eternity to do it. So with eternity as the time factor, of eternity, infinity, no problem. Okay, so the safeguards are actually there. Now the only obstacle, all right, that prevent people from dying and actually returning to home, all right, is this problem. Ignorance. Yes? And ignorance is a very sensitive thing because people will lump it under belief, perception, and I mean, you all can learn from us or learn from whichever religions. Now, the different religions, different faiths, trying to help people understand the spiritual world, the spiritual transition, or the transition from physical to spiritual, right? The religions are all trying to clear the ignorance, right? But different people will have different perceptions, beliefs, and they may not see it as truth or fact. It's very subjective. But whatever it is, right? Heaven or home or source of light is trying to send and pass messages, filter it down to humanity, trying to send messages to show them the way. And this has resulted in different religions and faith that, you have messengers, you have great religious founders and leaders. They are trying to, that have maybe have cultivated spiritual awareness, meditation, and practices such that they're able to be more in sync with the spiritual realms and of the divine, so that they can pass this message, be a medium, all right, to pass this message to try and erase this ignorance. So some people will be trying to do this work, all right, and for example, I mean, till today, right, there are people of various faiths that they see that their job or their mission is actually to try and erase this ignorance. So you have the proselytizers of different religions. That means they go out and spread religion, or they can be evangelists. And for people who don't like them, you think that that's just your belief, and it may be all bullshit, and just because it's based on a book which you all, based on books which you all think is the word of God or whatever, but other people may not believe. So it becomes very touchy. All right, but whatever it is, it's not to say that the source of light or heaven or divine is not trying to pass a message to try and help with this, but it's very sensitive. All right, so I hope I'm able to give at least food for thought to help you understand. The safeguards are there already, and it's pretty easy. All right, it's pretty easy. You'll be surprised, and I am pleasantly surprised that there are of course cases where people die and they don't go back to light, but usually it's a result of their own free will of something somewhere, somebody along the way that caused it, all right, or some karmic thing, all right, karmic as in cause and effect, consequences of some actions or decisions, that kind of thing. Okay, so it's actually very fair. Okay, and we can actually talk about all this for an entire day, and I will have to bring in a lot of topics, but I hope this answer will suffice. Wow, now the flood of questions have arrived. Yeah, now flood of questions. Let me try to see whether I can lump them all up and give answer. Okay, Edwin, is water a sea entity more powerful than land entity? All right, Edwin, asking such question is like saying, is a Chinese man better than a Indian man? Do you get what I mean? Or you may be asking, is an elephant more powerful than a whale? So you get what I mean? It's not about this, all right? And there are many things. So if you're just to there are many factors to consider, but to simplistically speaking, you need to consider each type of entity, their levels of abilities in certain manners and certain things. All right, and obviously, you're talking about water entity versus land entity. If you're talking about a person, who don't know how to swim and end up in the sea, which entity is more powerful? Definitely the entity in the water, right, can easily drown the person, even if it's level 1. So there are actually many factors. So we need to consider many factors. All right, it's too simplistic to just say, land or sea entity. Edwin again asking how to test fake or genuine light entity that is approaching us. All right, very good question, Edwin. That is actually answered in one of the videos. Okay, so the video recording, okay, is, let me see. I did a talk, how to tell if a spirit is good, evil, or harmless. All right, and that will address the one, how to test fake or genuine light entity that is approaching us. But if you actually want to get very technical, all right, so the very layperson generic method is outlined in the video. How to tell if a spirit is good, evil, or harmless. All right, is in our YouTube spiritual questions answered podcast or playlist. Otherwise, if you want to be very technical, the basic training is all we are teaching everybody the basic training for free. Okay, basically every month we have classes on Unity Qigong, all right, light meditation and non-attachment meditation. These are our foundational practice that if you do it long enough, you either develop the ability naturally alone by yourself, or if you're actually very interested, you can contact me and see whether you're interested in learning in Unity healing, whereby you actually learn about all this energy, spiritual stuff, and whether to protect yourself or to know more, or it's all covered under Unity healing. That is if you really want the technical stuff. Otherwise, for layperson, right, the answer is in the video. How to tell if spirits are evil, are good, evil, or harmless, in our YouTube. Evan asking, is it bad for astrologer karma who reveal heaven's secret to his or her client? Can chant mantra help the astrologer? All right. Again, this astrologer karma who revealed the heaven's secret, did I do something like that? Okay. There is this video called Free Will versus Destiny. All right, whereby I answered this question in part. Free will versus destiny, or destiny versus free will. The video is called Destiny versus Free Will. All right, so destiny is typically revealed by stuff like astrology or whatever. Okay, so please have a look at the video. But to answer Evan's question in short, because there's quite a number of questions, I'm trying to rush, see whether I can finish. All right, is it bad for astrologer karma to reveal heaven's secret? No. Actually, no, the answer is no. All right. The fact that destiny can be revealed through certain means like astrology or certain predictive modalities is because heaven allow it in the first place. All right, so there is no bad karma per se. Okay, and can chant mantra help the astrologer? Chant mantra can help the astrologer, but the problem with so-called people who do all these predictive modalities, they may, if they are being approached, usually the problem is this, people who approach all these astrologers or seeking a reading, they may be people very down on their luck. All right, very down on their luck, so they're seeking answers. And people who are down on their luck, their energies are very negative. And if you think about it, their negative energies, all right, so there's an astrologer who's sitting down, astrologer, right? Astrologer is sitting down, right, on a chair and taking questions, right? And along comes a person who's asking questions, and this person has all negative energy, right? And because this person has negative energy, deciding to ask this astrologer questions, right? There's a table here asking this question. But these negative energies can come from, all right, can come from evil spirits, right? Or maybe something like black magic. And whoever is doing a reading may absorb or get into contact with evil spirits or black magic, and that's when the astrologer gets into trouble. But not because of karma for revealing heaven's secrets, because it is not that way. all right, heaven actually allows some of this destiny and soul planning to be revealed by astrology or certain predictive modalities. Again, it's a crystal gemstone that has minor cracks. Should it not be worn? Maybe entity is residing. So Cora kind of answer this question for Edwin. Cora made a comment. From my experience, not necessarily. Any gem can be susceptible to entities like us, even pretty ones. I find they have to be energetically cleansed a lot, which is a chore. Laugh out loud. Yes, so Cora is correct. So Cora is learning immunity from us. It has nothing to do with cracks or whatever. Okay, nothing to do with cracks. Everything is to deal with energy. So if you're concerned by entity is a form of energy with consciousness. All right. So if you want to know how to recognize it, you need to go through training. And like I said, we are already helping everyone by providing very basic training. All right. Whether you're interested in meditation or qigong for health, all right, or you want to develop it further, all right, our Unity Qigong, light meditation, and non-attachment health. So with that kind of foundational practice, it's just like why a lot of people who pray a lot, there are people who are very religious or very spiritual, they pray a lot, they meditate a lot, and they eventually develop some spiritual or energy abilities. That's because they do all those foundational practice. Okay? And for us, these are our foundational practice, UQ, Unity Qigong, light meditation, and non-attachment meditation. So let's try to go through. Cora is asking, what level light am I? How to find out for yourself? So whatever level you are, I always try to tell people, whatever level you are, there may be something that's higher than you, and there are things that are lower than you. Long ago, I used to kind of measure my own level of light, or but nowadays I don't. Now, I don't do energy readings. You can actually do some form of energy reading to measure it. Now, nowadays I measure the level of light in me by this. How often do I get upset, or how often do I get irritated, upset, destabilized mentally, emotionally by things that happen around me, or that I get stressed? This is a measure of your level of light. All right, you don't have to talk about hocus pocus, light, invisible kind of, because it actually reflects in what's happening in your life. If your level of light is high, all right, you can, don't mind me, it can be, something terrible happened, and you will notice if your level of light is there, you may see everybody is running around like headless chickens and panicking. But if your level of light is there, your practice is there, your values are there, you will be more calm, steady, collected, and ready to respond instead of reacting with your inner issues of darkness like fear, anger, that kind of thing. All right, that will be a measure of your life. Stephanie, not sure if I'm asking a question the right way. Why is Mother Mary such an important divine figure and have many apparitions over the years? She is even mentioned extensively in the Quran. Is it because she gave birth to Jesus? All right, good. Mother Mary. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about Mother Mary. Now, first of all, let's understand something. Stephanie, you are mother, yeah? Now, if your children grow up to be good people and they become rich and famous, all right? If they become rich and famous, or or they become very good people that the whole world knows them, all right? There will be two scenarios. One is you as the mother, you get praised along, with your children because they attribute it, oh, the children, these, these people are so good because it must be because of the upbringing from their parents. And if the children and you have a good relationship and the children acknowledge you, then whatever good karma or good reputation of your children will come to you. But there is also the other end, all right, whereby people perform, all right, but they tell a different story. They tell of parents who weren't there in their lives, who who abuse them and so and so. Now, will this set of bad parents deserve good mention? No, right? And other than this, now separately, the parents, whether good or not so good, they also can do their own thing. They also can do their own thing and develop their own reputation. Correct? Develop their own reputation that is independent of their children. Because when we talk about Mother Mary is very linked to Jesus. All right, so I think to be clear, right, Mother Mary is clearly linked to Jesus Christ. Mother Mary is not just exalted just because of the deeds of Jesus Christ and just because she's a mother and she's a good mother. Mother Mary also truly deserves her divinity because of what she did as a person, and especially after Jesus died. Now, can you imagine? You are Mother Mary. You gave birth to Jesus Christ. You were very responsible for his upbringing. And Jesus eventually became the Messiah, known as the Messiah. And Jesus did great things. But you saw how your child died very horribly. The Passion of Christ, crucifixion, being speared and everything. And you witnessed it. How much pain Mother Mary had to go through. Can you even imagine for a moment, what kind of pain a mother will have to go through for the son that helped so many people that she gave birth to and still died such a horrible death? Now, I think, if I'm not wrong, the Bible doesn't mention much about what happened to Mother Mary after Jesus died. I'm not an academic, authority on this, but based on what I know, all right, in my meditations, Mother Mary was like Jesus, all right, was very much like Jesus. Everyone know that when Jesus was dying, he was asking God to forgive those who were killing and torturing him, right? You all know that in the gospel? Jesus saying, Father, asking the Heavenly Father to forgive the people because they do not know. They're ignorant. They do not know. Forgive them. Jesus was very big on forgiveness. And I'm telling you this, so was Mother Mary. So was Mother Mary. And Mother Mary, after seeing how badly tortured her son was, she had to forgive those who killed her son. And she had to carry on, of course, the work. This much I know, all right? So I think it makes sense. It will not just be because of Jesus' great deeds that Mother Mary is exalted. Definitely, for the divinity and the legend of who Jesus Christ is, Mother Mary is elevated. But definitely, Mother Mary in her own right, she would have been very deserving of her divinity. Okay? So, Amy, I'm probably at low level. Is there anything like to help, like certain crystals to enhance our light? Yes, I did mention crystals in one of the talk on crystals. Then there's a few replies, okay, to this question. Okay, so Coral was addressing Amy's question. In my experience, the best way to strengthen our light is through practicing good values. It's harder because it requires work, laugh out loud. And it's not so immediate, but very worthwhile. And Amy says, thank you, Coral. And Coral says, of course, be gentle and kind with yourself during the process. Personally, I feel it's better to strengthen your light and rely on your good values rather than an outside source to be dependent on, like crystals. Have faith in yourself. Now, Coral is very right. Coral is learning from us, and so I always tell people this. Yeah, when I first started this journey, I was selling crystals, and I have a huge inventory of crystals. Anyone who's come to our place, you can see it's all crystals. But in the interest of the client, of really truly helping the client, I no longer focus on selling crystals because crystals do not help change the person from within. Instead, all this relying on something external, all right, it creates a dependence, or it's like I'm selling you a crutch. All right, I'm selling you a crutch, and you end up walking with a stick, and then you never learn how to walk with your legs again. So instead, what we focus on is we teach people how to cultivate values. We talk a lot about values, and we have very simple practices, right? Whereby even if you're doing light meditation, the emphasis is still you don't do light meditation without values, because you must understand, right, that the light is from pure light of goodness, and you must be able to embody and emanate values before your light is strong. All right, so we try to, I'm now more of philosophy. I would like to empower people, all right, to effect change from within instead of relying on something that's external. And crystals or any other type of stuff that is external is not the right way forward, like Coral have explained. The better way would be, all right, to rely on our own self through internal change. And it is so worth it. I always tell people it's so worth it. Those of you who know, we do online retreats as well, and online retreats are available as recordings. If you're in our group, I do post about it every now and then. If you're interested, just let me know. All right, we have Facebook groups for that. And in the online retreats, I explain it entirely. How we can transform ourselves and how we can transcend all the difficult situations in our lives. Yeah, it's all available, and you don't have to pay a single cent. Okay, but for those of you who don't mind paying and you would like to have some intense, shall I say intense, more focused kind of experience with us, you are in luck, because we are having a physical in-person retreat in the year end. So it will be right after Christmas, 27th December to 1st January, and will be conducted in Chiang Mai, Thailand. All right, the details are available in the groups. If not, you can just try to message me, find my contact, go and Google CordyKet. My number will pop up somewhere, and you can give me a message, and I will reply whenever I'm free. So Amy is saying, I don't do light meditation, but when you cleanse me from entities, I really felt better and more calm towards situation around me. Did the cleansing help my light level somehow? Yes. Oh yeah, Amy, you're one of those I cleanse. Yes. Actually, what happened is, now I remember your case. So you're over the years, right? You may have accumulated negative energies, and there'll be entities around you. And when so the step of our cleansing is, first of all, I will remove all. So this is like the person. So what I'll do is I remove all the evil spirits, all the negative energies. All right. After remove, then the person will be like this, right? So there'll be no more negative energies. But that is not good enough. Okay. So what I'll do is I will heal the light. I will heal the light and make sure that you're an aura. All right. And this will protect you at least for good duration. It will protect you from all the evil spirits. They can't get near you. But how long the light stays with you will depend on your own maintenance. Whether are you actually, working on yourself, on being a good person, truly good and positive person. If you have religious practices, are you doing your religious practices, or if you're not religious, you may be practicing our practices. All right, but what's also, I would say, very important is this thing, yeah, values. Are you a really good person, and you're able to maintain that with a little bit of religious practices or our energy lights practices? Then you will be able to maintain these lights, and you find that, all right, mentally and emotionally, you will be better. All right, thank you for sharing. Almost forgot your case, yeah. And now, Edwin, again, other than trained energy person, can a machine device be able to detect a person level of light? Not foolproof, not foolproof. All right, no machine can do the work that we do. So you all know about this AI revolution thing, right? AI is replacing a lot of jobs, and I had this conversation with Cordelia and some other people, right? And I'm very confident, right? I tell people, my job can never be replaced by AI or a machine, because there's no way they can do the work, because all these lights and everything is only generated by a human, all right? And all these spiritual practices, machine can't do it, no matter how intelligent or artificially intelligent it is, all right? So machines, devices cannot. There are some machines that are designed to try and measure the aura of a person. All right, they measure to a certain degree, but it's not foolproof too. It's not foolproof, and it's not entirely accurate. Okay, so it's still very subjective. This field of spirituality and subtle energies is still very subjective, and I'm quite sure there will be a lot of people who disagree with what I say even. But it's okay, right? We all have our own different experiences, and I'm here to share what are my experiences and what are my conclusions from my experience with everyone. Okay, yeah, Amy said thank you, Kat, Edwin too. So I shall think there are no more questions, right? So thank you for having me. Yeah, and you feel that this has benefited you, please do consider making a donation, right, to support our online events so that we can keep going. And if you cannot afford it, that is also fine. Yeah, how to make a donation will be in the groups. Facebook group is always in the featured or announcements section, and in our WhatsApp and other the chat groups. I'll be posting the details of a bank account and how to make a donation to support us there. Right? So thank you everyone for having me. I hope to see you all again. And tomorrow we have light meditation. Yeah, same time I'll be teaching light meditation. It was mentioned earlier. If you're interested, join us. If not, I'll see you another time. All right. Practically most weeks we have something going on. All right. See the schedule. It's on our website and also in our groups. Okay. I'll just see everyone again. Have a good day, good night, and goodbye.